This is Zach Meir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Box Markets for Tuesday, the 30th of November, and we're still hanging by a thread in terms of the broader market with the FTSE 100, at least the large caps. Here you can see this uptrend line there from back, well, it's basically this time last year, in fact. And the line there around, I suppose, 70.10, we just hit that line, overshot a bit like the way we did in September. The hope would be that today is the equivalent of that low on the 20th of September, and we bounce back from here. If you're looking for a trigger for that, maybe an end-of-day close above the 200-day moving average, that's around 70.30, so anything above that would be positive. After that, the target would be the 50-day line, just below 7,200, but still not out of the woods yet, and really today is the day. As I said, we're hoping that we're going to see something like a repeat of what we saw in September, or perhaps even in July, but September the most analogous time as far as the current setup is concerned. On to the small caps and the heroes, if there are any heroes, not too many heroes today. Altitude Group, the first one here, just trying to break that line of resistance there from back in April. That's around 31 pence, so an end-of-day close above 31 could take the shares up towards that May resistance line there at 43 pence perhaps by the end of the year. Stop loss just back below today's key reversal up day, so sub 27 pence on that. Slightly positive there with the bounce off RSI 50, the neutral level, so that does suggest that we should actually break through. On to one of the few stocks which provides cheer, an ongoing cheer, in fact, with Ben's Creek. We've had goods consolidation either side of the 30 pence level, and the top of the channel, the notional channel here, now heading up towards as high as 46 or 47 pence. Maybe that could be seen as soon as the end of next month. We've got the rising 50 and 200-day lines there, and we've still left that gap down there around 11 pence, which was the sort of the rocket launcher start of the current move to the upside as the company re-rates quite nicely. Moving along to GS Technologies, and here things looking a bit better as well. We've got a line of resistance broken there from the beginning of the month. That was around 2.25 pence. So above that, looking for at least a retest of 3.25, which was this month's peak, and then perhaps up to as high as 4.5 by the end of next month, or maybe going into January. Good slide along the RSI 50 level, the neutral level, over the recent past. So that does suggest that we're looking quite perky, and we've got that support above the 50-day moving average around 2 pence, which should also help build momentum. On to Goldstone, which I believe was pouring gold is in terms of its announcement today. Here we've got the shares bouncing off the 50-day moving average ahead of the news, so somebody obviously had made a good guess of what was going to happen next. Top of the channel here up to 18 pence, while we hold above the 50-day line at around 11.75 pence. Time frame on 18 pence by the end of next month. Moving on to another stock which might cheer some people up, Kistos. Hasn't really put a foot wrong since it came to market. Rising trend channel here from back at the beginning of the year. I suppose the shares have slowed down a bit, but that's only to be expected considering they came up from £1 and are now nearly £4. If we can break the £4 area, we've got the potential for a new leg up to a new leg higher, perhaps up to 570 or 580 on a 1 to 2 month time frame. Maybe stretch that to 2 to 3 months, but you get the picture that this is looking pretty strong. You can draw a line of resistance there from back in October, so that suggests that we need to break, say, 385 to get the next leg going in earnest. On to my HealthCheck, which is obviously enjoying the pandemic revival that we've had. Just managed to nudge the 200-day moving average at 3.5, and end-of-day close above 3.5 could take the shares up to the next level, which was on the way down around 4.4 pence, the July-August double top. Stop loss at the moment back below that old September peak at 2.9 pence, so reasonable risk reward, even though we've come up a long way already. Been meaning to look at Omega Diagnostics for some days, and it always seems to slip the net. Here the question is whether the shares, after all, after the breakdown that we have had, have finished their recent decline. Sort of gives the impression really that there may be a little bit more to the downside, maybe down towards the 20 pence level. The reason for saying that is that basically there was old resistance around 17 pence from back in early 2020, so that's the possibility that that might need to be tested. Also, the RSI, although it's very low, near 20, has actually been down to sub 10 on the declines that the shares have had. So just looking a little bit vulnerable unless we can get a decent close well north of 25 pence, which was the old spike low. I suppose you could say that that line might come in to save the situation, but so far looking rather weak, even though the COVID situation is in favour of Omega at the moment. Moving along to Pembridge, which is a rare steady stock at the moment. I suppose it's steady while we hold above the 7 pence level, which is that broken May resistance line. Above that, looking for a retest of 9 pence, which was the November peak. Big picture target for fans of this situation would be up to 14 pence, maybe on a 2 to 3 month view, if we can hold above 7 pence. Just a couple of stocks to go now. First is Sound Energy, which had decent, I suppose it was off-take news really, and interesting here that we had that one-day Ireland reversal, which tends to be a strong signal. We saw one of those on BT yesterday, although it hasn't really proved too much or helped too much. But end of day close above that resistance line there from back in August, around 1.4 pence. Could take the shares up to 1.6 once the dust settles on the latest announcement. Stock which doesn't normally appear, is too big to appear on this particular sweep, but Wise Group on a dull day. An end of day close back above the top of that November gap at £8.24. Could be enough to take the shares up towards the 200-day moving average at £9.16. That would be a gap close signal, which is one of our favourites, and that comes after the gap higher off support that we had. So maybe there'll be a second signal for the bulls to take the shares through £9 and have a bit of a run up. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.